What's up guys, it's Skylar with Mountain Man Constrictors. And today I want to show you how to set up your baby ball python for under $100. Now, we get questions about what do we do for a setup? I'm going to show you my favorite way, and the reason I really like this way is because it makes it a lot easier for you to take home a baby ball python and get them eating right away. Now, when a baby is being kept with a breeder, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be in a tub style. So the first thing that you need to combat when you take this little baby home is we want to get them eating. So the less changes that we can do for these little guys, the better. Now, what I like to do is get them set up. This is a 15 quart Sterilite tub with the locking lid, and that's important so they don't push out. Now, everything that you need, you're going to need a thermostat to regulate the temperature. You're going to need some kind of a heat mat. Now, this one is a heat strip. You can get this on reptilebasics.com. You can buy it by the foot, and they can even pre-wire them for you if you're not confident with electrical. Then you get some foil tape. This is used for HVAC. You can pick it up at any of your local hardware stores. We've got a hide, water dish, and some kind of substrate. So we like to use Repti Chip. This is a coconut husk substrate. We really like it because it retains the humidity really well, and it's really absorbent when they go to the bathroom. Okay. Now, for the setup, if you're building one of these on your own, you're going to want to make sure that you put some ventilation in. So you can do this with a drill bit, or I recommend, if you have one, using a soldering iron. You'll get a lot cleaner holes, but ventilation's important. Typically with these types of setups, I will do the ventilation just in the front on the opposite side of where my heat's going to go. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the heat element and we're going to take our thermostat and we'll get that set up first. Okay, so we're going to plug in our thermostat. These ones are really easy to use. You pretty much just hit set and then up or down, just depending on where you want the temperature. Now we're going to take our heating element and the probe for the thermostat. Now this is the most important step. We want to make sure that our probe is sandwiched between the heating element and the bottom of the tub. So we'll get this plugged in and heating up for us. It's not a bad idea to take a little bit of that tape and you can just tear a little piece off and tape your probe directly to the center of the heating element. In fact, we're gonna reverse that direction. Okay, once we've done that, we're going to go ahead and tape down our heating element. So you can also buy heat mats from like Zoomed. Yeah, Zoomed makes a really good one that's pretty inexpensive. They're self-adhesive. With the self-adhesive ones, I usually don't like to stick them on that way, because if you tape it on, then as your snake grows, you can actually just move your heating element to a new tub. Okay, we've got that set up. I'm just putting the one piece of tape on right now just to show you guys how it's done. You'll want to use both sets of tape. Tape both sets of your heating element down, or both sides of your heating element down, so it doesn't move. Up next, we're going to fill it with Substrate. Now when you're filling your Substrate, you really only want it about ½ an inch or so deep. And then as far as like other substrates that you can use, like I said, I really like this Repti chip, but you can also use aspen with ball pythons. You can even use an unprinted newsprint or paper towels. So it really just depends on what you have available. But I really like this stuff. It really does a good job. Okay, now once we've put our substrate in, you're just going to want to moisten it down, so you can use a little spray bottle or a hose if you have a sprayer. But basically, you're really just going to wet down the part that's over the heating element. That's the only part that we really care about. Okay. All right, so we've given our heat strip time to heat up. So now we want to try and get that to the appropriate temperature. Now come in here, and what we're going to want to use is a heat gun. You can get these at Harbor Freight, Lowe's, Amazon. They're not very expensive, but they're a really good tool to have. And you can use them periodically just to make sure that everything is working the way that it should. But basically, we're going to want to test the temperature underneath the substrate and test the bottom of the enclosure, and we're looking for 89 to 90 degrees. Now this hasn't been on long enough just to give you an example of how it's done, but I don't really care what the thermostat says the temperature is. As far as what the temperature's set to, I really care about what reading I'm getting inside. So to give you an example, on all of these tubs, we want the hot spot to be 89 to 90 degrees. However, you're going to lose some heat from the bottom of the tub actually penetrating into the enclosure. So we want that hot spot to be about 89 to 90 degrees. Now that being said, we might have to set this thermostat to 95 degrees in order to achieve that temperature. But really, what your heat gun says is the number that we're going to go off of. Okay. So once you've done that, you're going to want to set the hide in on the hot side. It's not a bad idea to throw in some fake plants and more places for your baby to hide. And then we're going to fill up the water dish and put that in the front. And that's all there is to it. Like I said, you can get creative with this, and you can use different size tubs as the animal grows. But this is a really good way just to set up that baby, get them eating, and then, you know, as they continue to grow, we know that it can be really expensive to keep buying enclosures over and over again. You might be tempted to put your little baby ball python in a big adult size aquarium like a 40-gallon. But we've seen in our experience that babies typically aren't going to do super well with that because they're going to feel exposed and they're not going to want to eat. So the nice part about doing a tub setup like this is you can save hundreds of dollars as that baby grows. You know, once they are doing well in your care and they've grown a little bit and you feel like you want to upgrade to a nice enclosure, you can definitely do that But we've seen in our experience that they do really well in this type of a setup. So I hope you like this kind of content. Let me know in the comments if you do, and also if you have any questions in relation to how to do this kind of setup, or questions about baby ball pythons in general. But make sure that you hit that notification bell, like and subscribe. We'll catch you on the next one.